Park is almost impossible. We parked about 6 blocks away, so anyway, I'm very pleased. Thank you all for coming. It's Christmas, it's busy traffic, unfortunately it's a beautiful day, which is a great help, but a lot of you know Nilesh, and Nilesh is from Goa. He's been our Ayurvedic doctor for the last 10 years and a very good friend. We've been to the Ayurvedic hospital twice and now to their new clinic in Goa, which is quite lovely, and had the most wonderful treatment. And Walter and I are here and we're still going strong. I think great proof of having this loving care, and a care that you can trust totally, is very, very important for all of us, because we have to have healthy bodies to have healthy minds, and so we're very blessed to have Nilesh here with us again. And I would also like to introduce you to Gaurav Desai. And Gaurav is also a fully qualified Ayurvedic doctor, but he specializes in he's an expert in the preparation of medicines. And one day, Walter and I took them both to Kew Gardens, and wherever we went, oh, that's such and such a plant, now that tree is that, and they knew every plant in the whole of Kew Gardens, which was just amazing. And of course, they learn all of their training in Sanskrit, so that's also very, very powerful. So we have a lot of loving care coming towards us. And today I think you'll really enjoy hearing about medicine and its link with spirituality, etc. Nilesh is giving this talk for us to help us raise money for our music therapy in India and Nepal. And so we're very grateful to him for giving his time. And if anybody would like to make a donation, there's a box here or downstairs, but it is not compulsory. So after Nilesh finishes here, he's been invited to America, and he leaves here on the 9th of December he and Gaurav to go to America, and he will be giving talks in America to Ayurvedic doctors of the Association of Ayurvedic Practitioners of North America. So that's really encouraging, because having been born and grown up in Canada, you never heard of alternatives at all. And if you did, they were sort of hocus pocus. So to know that Ayurveda now is really taking off in a big way in North America, for me, is very encouraging. Also for my family there. So I won't talk anymore, because a lot of you know Nilesh, but if there are any questions at the end you would like to ask, we have a microphone here and I can take it around. But also, if you want to meet Nilesh afterwards and talk to him, please do come forward and he'll be happy to answer any questions. But it's nice to share questions, because what you may ask might be what somebody else was going to ask or would have liked to have asked. So at the end of the talk, please, if you've got questions, we'd love to hear them. Thank you. And Nilesh?
Thank you very much, Margaret, for that huge introduction of mine. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Before I begin, I would like to thank you for making an effort to come on a Sunday afternoon, as Margaret said, with the parking and the holiday, wherein you would have planned different things. Friends, when the term Ayurveda comes, everybody thinks that it is a science which is related to medicine only. Everybody talks about it as a therapeutic science. Everybody talks about it as a science which will have a remedy for any disorder that has taken place. Initially, when I went to the college and I started studying about it, the first classes gave me an introduction to a lot of philosophy. In the first year, I did not know where the relevance came from of the philosophy. I said, why am I made to study all this philosophy when in a medical college, you're supposed to be learning about the body, you're supposed to be dissecting bodies, you're supposed to be understanding the physiology. What is the relationship of this? We are in the 21st century. In this 21st century, does Ayurvedic philosophy have any standing? We are at the height of science, in scientific inventions, technological inventions. We are at the peak. But does that give any relevance to Ayurveda? Is it necessary for Ayurveda to exist? After 20 years of learning this, today I've come to this point wherein I can talk about it and its association. Why? So I start with, have you ever thought, who am I? Why am I like this? Why couldn't I be like Margaret, Kay, Gaurav? Why should I be Nilesh only? If my body was made to enjoy, why am I suffering? A general question, all of us are human beings. If all of us have the same bodies, amongst human beings, why do you see a 20-year-old suffering from cancer? Why do you see a 30-year-old suffering from sudden attacks of epilepsy? Why all these things? It doesn't exist so much in the animal kingdom. So amongst human beings, why all this? Anatomically, we have similar structures. Yes, all of us have got similar structures. We have eyes, ears, nose, hands, legs, everything structurally. If you go in a book and say, these are the facets that you should be having to be called as a human being. But when it comes to a little happiness, two similar situations, a cup of coffee, I might be happy enjoying it. Gaurav might say, no, I don't enjoy coffee. When it comes to people, why is it that I am drawn towards certain people? And Margaret says, no, I can't stand the face of him. But here I say, no, I have certain things about him that I really, really like and admire. And to me, it seems that it's been lifetimes that I've known him. I've just met him yesterday. But she would say that, no, I've known him over 10 years and he is not a good person. I don't gel with him. After that, who governs our physiological processes? All that is happening in my body, right from respiration, circulation, digestion, it's such a complex activity. Who does it? Just the body has the capacity to do it? Or is there anything else? Is there a specific energy which does it? When I sleep, as I'm alert now, I know that I have to breathe in, I know I have to eat something, I know I have to drink water. But when I sleep, who takes care of these activities? Half a day, almost about 10 hours in a day, or 9 hours in a day, or 8 hours in a day, I sleep. That's when I'm not conscious. Who takes care of my body then? What kind of energy runs? The universe. Where did this universe begin? If I'm existing now, what is the ultimate aim of my existence? I should have not existed at all. If we say this is all Maya, if we say this is all not required at all for existence, why is it that I'm existing then? Not the last. If death is the end of everything, why is it necessary to go through all the sufferings of life? Ultimately, all of us are going to die. But is it necessary to be born? Is it necessary to go through all these pains of life? The modern science stops over there and says death is the end and beyond that we cannot do anything. The ancient philosophers, whether it is Greek, whether it is Egyptian, whether it is Harappan, whether it's Vedic, everybody has mentioned that death is not the end. So if death is not the end, why am I born? Let us imagine a state of zero existence when there was nothing existing at all. Nothing, it is pure inertia. Nothing, just imagine zero. None of us existing around over here, the world not existing, the earth not existing, the stars not existing, everything zero. Just pure energy. Imagine a huge globe of light, which we would say is pure energy, and we shall term it pure existence or sattva. Now what is the rule of nature? Rule of nature demands constant change. I am speaking to you all now, but at this moment, the earth is rotating, the other planets are revolving. This is in my body. The digestion process is going on. The food that I've eaten in the afternoon is already being broken down. The constant change is taking place every living second. This is the rule of nature. What was a bud yesterday becomes a flower today, becomes a withered flower tomorrow. So there is nothing that can stop it at all. This change can never be stopped. So the basic rule of nature was, there is nothing that is constant, everything is constantly changing. From here the story of our existence began. We saw sattva where there was nothing existing, as we said. The sattva had a desire to grow. How would it grow? Without change, it was not possible for sattva to grow. Therein came two other energies which were living alongside a part of sattva. And we call these energies the energy of rajas or the energy of initiation. It stimulated the sattva to grow, pure existence to grow until when? Until it became huge enough wherein no other change for this structure was possible. And once no other change for this structure was possible, it understood that the growth had to stop and the structure had to be altered. And that is where tamas came into existence. Tamas is nothing but something that will stop this change, something that will stop this growth. So tamas came into existence therein, the growth stopped and suddenly everything changed and altered. The structure of sattva altered into many-fold. Now let us see what are the qualities of sattva, rajas and tamas. Sattva stands for compassion, righteousness, forgiveness, truthfulness, faith, knowledge, intellect, retentive faculty of mind, memory, and non-attachment. These qualities are the same qualities that are imbibed by all of us as human beings. We shall move a little ahead and see what Rajas has got to say. Rajas is the energy which is required for initiation of anything. But the qualities that it imbibes, if in excess, are unhappiness, impatience, ego, falsehood, cruelty, fraudulence, haughtiness, exhilaration, lust, anger. Tamas is again, the good part of it is that it has the capacity to stop anything. But if in excess, then we see it brings around sadness, nihilistic attitude, unrighteousness, ignorance, wickedness, and a lot of inactivity. Now we shall go to where we all came from. From a state of nothing existing, where sattva was just existing by itself, we call it a balanced state, wherein sattva, besides it is rajas, and besides it is tamas. An absolute balanced state, nothing happening. So we know that rajas and tamas do not exist within sattva. Rajas and tamas exist outside sattva. That is the same qualities that are seen in every living being. Rajas and tamas do not exist within our bodies. They just move around outside our bodies, and for a brisk moment they will come and alter the sattva bhava that you have, and you might be caught in a traffic jam. That brisk moment you get irritated because Rajas is there to irritate you for that. If Rajas was there living inside your body, you would have been constantly angry. If tamas was living inside your body, you would have been constantly idle and sad. We do not see this happening in our day-to-day life. So what happens? These two energies live outside our bodies, and only when they are given an impetus, that is when they will attack our body for a brief moment and then leave the body. And thereon again sattva takes back into activity. So when we talk about origin of life, sattva, rajas and tamas were in an absolute balanced state. And from that balanced state, they started, because of initiation with rajas, and they started growing, sattva started growing, became big, was a stage of expansion when everything becomes big. Imagine you're blowing a balloon. You can blow it until the rubber cortex is covering it outside. Once the capacity of the balloon goes beyond holding the air, the balloon bursts and you see a structural change, a total structural change in the existence of the balloon. Similarly, after the stage of Mahan, you came where expansion was going on, Ahankara or Buddhi came inside, and the uniqueness of Sattva stopped over there,